Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday afternoon. Hope yours is going well. We've got another Seahawks video to get to today, but first, we just hit 3,210 subscribers to the channel. I want to give a shout out to all the subscribers and special tip of the cap to all the channel members, especially elite channel members Brendon, Mikel, Hasher for MVP, VGK Tiger 75, Ryguy, Salacious Crumb, Brendan Nelson's Haircut, ItsHoof, The Reno, 12th Man, Austin Roberts, Scott Todd, and TVO. All right. Yesterday and the day before, we did left tackles. We took a look at some of the best left tackle prospects in this draft, took a look at some guys that interested me because we need some help there either now or later. Right tackle, same deal. I think Brandon Shell's pretty good, but we could get better. And if the opportunity is there for us to get better by drafting a top right tackle prospect, we should do it. And even if we can't get better right now, we also know that Brandon Shell's going to be a free agent in 2022, and he also got hurt a couple times last year. So we may as well start figuring out how we can replace him if we decide to not bring him back, even if we're going to pencil him in as the starter in 2021. So we already kind of know what kind of prospects I'm looking for on the offensive line. We already have a pretty good idea of the talent set that I'm prioritizing here. I want offensive linemen who can move, play in space, agility, mobility, make blocks at the second level. I want those guys. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the 4 right tackle prospects who caught my eye in this draft. These are 4 guys who I think could help the Seahawks, who are going to go in the top 4 rounds. So late 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. All right, let's go to prospect number 1. Jalen Mayfield of Michigan. And this is my dude. This is one of the 7 players who I would put on my platinum tier. These are guys who I want to take at 56 with no trade backs if they are available. So if you've been paying attention to the series so far, you would know there are 7 players who I want to take in the 56 slot. This is number 7. So let's take a look at Jalen Mayfield. He's 20 years old. Dude is young. Like I said, he was a Michigan Wolverine, 6'5", 319 pounds. He's already got plenty of mass on him. 5.31 40 time. He's not fast, but good enough to play the position well. His draft value indicates he might be beyond our reach. I will concede that. Pro Football Focus loves him and thinks he'll be a first rounder. Draft Network says he'll be a top second rounder. Tankathon, PFN, and Sporting News think he'll be a mid-second rounder. The only places that have him falling to us would be ESPN, who think he'll be an early 3rd, and Walter Football, who think he'll go anywhere from the 2nd to the 4th. So if he falls to us, I think we got to do it. I know y'all want to trade back, and I understand it, but Jalen Mayfield is one of the guys who I would absolutely be willing to just burn 56 on because I really like him. There are some trepidations that I have with him, and we'll get into that. But for now, let's talk about the positives. He's a pretty good athlete for his size. When you're 6'5", 319 pounds, you're not going to be the greatest athlete, but he's good for his size. He was going to get a lot better as he gains experience. Right now, he doesn't have a ton of NCAA experience. He's got a lot to learn, a lot to pick up. But I think that as he plays, he's just going to get better by default. The physical tools are clearly there for a dominant tackle prospect. This dude has the physical attributes to be great in the NFL. He might move to left tackle, which is not a bad thing for us. We are going to have a need at left tackle as well. So if you draft Jalen Mayfield, you can kind of just see what happens. If he ends up being a better left tackle than a right tackle, you can go with that. If he ends up being better at right tackle, you can go with that too. So it's all good by me. So some downsides. 1, he did not test very well. I think that's a fair criticism to make of Jalen Mayfield. He didn't test very well in terms of his pro day. I don't want to say that undoes the fact that he's clearly a great prospect with a lot of talent, but he didn't test well. He will probably need time to develop into an NFL starter. We are talking about a relatively raw prospect here. We are talking about somebody who did not have a lot of experience. So to say he's going to come in and start for Shell day 1, it's probably a little bit of an overreach. It's probably a little too optimistic. So I will say this. If you take Jalen Mayfield, he might take Shell's job, but he might not. You might be locked into shell starting year one, regardless. It's hard to know, but it's out there. I know it's a little disappointing to redshirt a second round pick. Mayfield might be one of those guys. All right, let's chug along to prospect number 2. This is Jackson Carman from Clemson. And I like this guy, but I have some questions as well. He's 21 years old, so young. 6'5", 345 pounds. This dude packs some weight, man. This dude is huge for a right tackle. Maybe a little too big. Maybe he can trim down, maybe he can. I mean, his frame is only 6'5". You would think he could trim down if he really needed to. He still runs a good 40, though, for a 350-pound man. 5.2 seconds. Really good for a 350-pound man. As for where he might get drafted, this guy might be there for the Seahawks. This guy might actually fall exactly in the range for the Seahawks to pick up at the early third or late second. Walter Football says first to second round pick. Pro Football Focus says mid second. Sporting News, ESPN, and Tankathon say late second. Draft Network says early third. Pro Football Network says mid third. I think he's probably going to be a late second round pick, maybe early third. So there should be some opportunity for the Seahawks to get him with even a little bit of a trade back. But would we want to? Well, he's massive and he's powerful. I mean, you don't get to 345 pounds without being pretty big and pretty strong. He's absolutely dominant as a run blocker thanks to his power. If you get him, you've got somebody who can really help you as a run blocker. He still moves well given how heavy he is. He is not somebody who lumbers around there and gets outrun by everybody. He moves well for a man of his size, which is going to be important for this scheme. He's got good hand technique, and he's solid in pass protection overall. He handles the bull rushers quite well. Now, he does occasionally struggle with speed rushers, as you would expect for a guy of this size. You don't get to this size without having a little bit of a problem dealing with some speed rushers. Because of this, he might slot in better as a guard at the NFL level. We don't know yet. I give this guy a really good chance of making it at right tackle in the NFL, but it's possible he doesn't cut it there and ends up needing to play guard. We'll have to see. I'm willing to take the chance on him in the early third. I'm not crazy about doing it in the late second, though. I'm going to say that right now. But good prospect, definitely worth consideration. Can definitely be the right tackle in 2022, maybe 2021. All right, that's prospect number 2. Let's move along to prospect number 3. And this is Spencer Brown from UNI. Or, well, Northern Iowa. Excuse me, NIU. All right. Spencer Brown, I couldn't figure out his age, but he did play at Northern Iowa. 6'9". Big dude, tall dude. He's got a big frame on him. 314 pounds. He's got room to grow. He could probably put on an additional 20 pounds and his frame could take it no problem. Oh, and by the way, he's quick. He runs a sub 540. He runs a 4.94 40. This guy can move. So, phenomenal mix of size and foot speed. As for where he might go, Pro Football Network thinks he'll be a second round pick, very late second. Walter Football says second to third. Draft Network and ESPN say late to mid third. Pro Football Focus really doesn't like him that much. They think he'll be a late fourth or early fifth. I think he's probably going to be a late third round pick. So if the Seahawks trade down, he's going to be in range. And he is a potential candidate to be the pick. So let's talk about him. He possesses a height and length rare for the position, obviously. I mean, look at him. You usually don't find right tackles who are 6'9". And I'm not saying that's necessarily automatically going to be a good thing, but it's not automatically going to be a bad thing either. He should be great against speed rushers at the least, right? He has the right mentality to be a mauler in the run game. So just because he's a little light doesn't make him soft. Just because he's athletic doesn't make him soft. He knows how to play in the run. He's got good balance and he's got good body control, which make him a likely candidate to be effective on the move. This guy can probably play at the second level. This guy can probably block at the second level. I think he has the talent and the attributes to be able to handle those things. He's a great pass protector, He's got a great mix of length and intelligence. It's hard to get around him. It's hard to bull rush him either because he is still very strong. He should be a really good pass protector in the NFL. The only thing I could find on him that I didn't love was his average lateral movement. This gives him some minor issues. But even though this guy's probably going to be a third round pick, I think he has a pretty good chance of maybe even taking Brandon Shell's job as a rookie. And I usually wouldn't say that. I usually would always give Shell the benefit of the doubt because I think right tackle is a really hard position to play and you have a lot to learn. But I really like this prospect, and it would not surprise me if he developed faster than some people are giving him credit for. So that's Spencer Brown. He's my third prospect at right tackle. If we could trade back to the late third and he's still there, bring him home. Bring him in. Okay, that's prospect number 3. Let's go to our final prospect for the day, prospect number 4. And this is Stone Forsythe from the Florida Gators. 23 years old, a little older than the other guys we were looking at, but he's big. He's 6'8", very tall, very nice, 315 pounds. He's got weight to spare, and he could put on some more on that frame if he needed to. Pretty decent 40 time for a man of this size. 5.14, pretty good. Good enough. And this is a guy who you might be able to even hold on to the 5th round to get. I don't see a ton of excitement behind him. I feel like he's going to be a late 4th rounder, but there's potential for some real value with Stone Forsythe. 3rd to 5th round on Walter Football. Draft Network says 4th round. Pro Football Focus says late 4th. Pro Football Network and ESPN say he's a 5th round pick. I'm going to say he's a late 4th round pick personally. That's my read on this situation. So Stone Forsythe has experience on both sides of the line. He can play left tackle, right tackle. I'm confident in saying that if he plays tackle in the NFL, it will be right. But he does have experience playing both, and that does count for something. Very nice pass protector against speed rushers and bull rushers. He's got the length and the mobility to handle the speed rushers. He's got the strength to handle the bull rushers. Great all-around pass protector. He's got good strength, too, which should help him in the run game. He does need to learn how to get lower to make up for his height. We all know that when you play too high as an offensive lineman, defensive linemen can get underneath you and just push you back and get around you. So he needs to learn how to play a little bit lower. He does need some time to be groomed, I think. This is not a guy who you can plug and play in year 1. This might be a year 2 guy. Maybe even year 3 in the worst case scenario. But I like the physical attributes and I like the talent. I think he's a good mix of pass blocking and run blocking. And if we get to our pick in the 4th round and he's still there, I might just have to go for it. So that's prospect number 4, and that's really all I have today. There weren't a ton of top 130, 140 right tackles who I was really into. But to me, in between left tackle and right tackle, there are 9 guys who I like who are going to go in that top 140 range, the first 4 rounds, who the Seahawks could, in theory, get. So between those 2, you should be able to find somebody you really like. So in a couple days, we're going to go over the sleepers at right tackle. I have 5 of those that we'll be going over. But tomorrow we're going to go back to round 3 of the mock draft. We're going to move towards wrapping that up. And hey, I'll see you guys later in stream. Peace out. Go Hawks. Let me know what you guys think about these 4 prospects. Who do you like? Who would you take? Who do you not like? Who did I miss? Let me know. Let me know what you think. See y'all later in stream. Peace out. Go Hawks.